NuScale and TVA have announced up to 6 gigawatts of new reactors. Imagine my excitement this morning when TVA and ENTRA1 sign an agreement for 6 gigawatts, 6-plant nuclear SMR collaboration with NuScale. NuScale being the OG of the SMR market, having been around for over 20 years now, they're finally getting their big break. They're finally selling some reactors. So cheers to you, NuScale. All your hard work has finally paid off. You're getting the big bucks now. This is just sparkling water, by the way. But then I decided to look into it a little bit more. And after getting past the initial headlines and excitement, it's maybe not as much as we would hope. TVA will collaborate with ENTRA1 Energy, NuScale's exclusive global strategic partner, we'll talk about that in a minute, to develop a 6 gigawatt portfolio, including 6 ENTRA1 Energy power plants on TVA sites. And on the face of it, this seems like a pretty big announcement, which it is. However, the companies describe their collaboration as an important first step in advancing next-generation nuclear technology, noting that ENTRA1's immediate strategy was to deploy NuScale's small modular reactor equipment within its ENTRA1 Energy plants. A collaborative agreement in the power sector, however, is a business arrangement where two companies work together to develop energy projects by sharing resources, expertise, and responsibilities. It likely means that TVA and ENTRA1 Energy will now jointly identify sites, coordinate development activities, and share planning efforts for the nuclear projects as ENTRA1 handles financing and construction obligations. So while a lot of the headlines have been big announcements about 6 gigawatts of NuScale SMRs, the reality is it's just an agreement that they will explore how to do that in the future. But that's not nothing. After all, NuScale, being one of the original SMR companies, does have a strong technology portfolio, and their design is one of the only NRC approved. NRC in May 2025 also granted a standard design approval for NuScale's uprated 77 megawatt electric US-460 module, which can be configured in 6 packs for 462 megawatts electric per plant. NuScale has gone through a lot of design changes with their plant, and they now finally have something that they can market. And again, they're the only SMR company that actually has pre-existing design approval, which should make individual site licensing a lot easier. If we look at a lot of the other SMR designers, none of them have standard design approval from the NRC, which is something that they would either have to get or they'd have to apply as part of a specific site license. And all of that is going to take additional time and money. Theoretically, NuScale will be able to save this effort since their design is already approved by the NRC, and all they have to do is specific site characterization, showing that the conditions of any individual application site are then within the envelope of that generic design approval. Again, this should be a much faster, cheaper, and more straightforward method than going for a full construction and operating license from scratch. But the selection of 6 gigawatts across 6 sites at TVA did strike me as a little bit odd. That's a lot of power to produce with SMRs, especially at a big operator like TVA that already has around 8 gigawatts of nuclear capacity. So I decided to do some math. If we assume that NuScale is proposing its Voyager 12 plant, which has 12 reactors per plant, each at 77 megawatts, and so the whole plant would produce 924 megawatts, and we put that across 6 sites, then we're going to have 77 small modular reactors built to get about 6 gigawatts. But in my opinion, 72 reactors to produce 5.5 gigawatts is a lot, and probably a bit excessive. That's a lot of reactors to try and handle for maintenance and operations and scheduling. Plus, if we go by NuScale's own experience with its carbon-free power project, its previous project in Idaho, the costs aren't looking good. Then this is going to be an extremely expensive project if all 72 reactors get built. The carbon-free power project was for 6 NuScale SMR Voyager reactors, producing 462 megawatts. When the project was canceled, the cost had ballooned to $9.3 billion, which is obviously a lot of money. If we break that down into cost per megawatts electric, that's $20,000 per megawatt, or a bit over $1.5 billion per reactor. So if we want to go and build 72 of these reactors, it's going to be $111 billion, which again is a lot of money to get 5.5 gigawatts of power. But small modular reactors are supposed to be more efficient and cheaper. So let's compare to the AP1000 project at Vogtle, the most expensive project in the US. There we built 2 AP1000s giving 2,234 megawatts of electricity. Best estimate costs put it at about $35 billion to build those, or about $15,500 per megawatt electric. So let's suppose that TVA had decided to explore building AP1000s instead of NuScale's SMR. How would that look in terms of cost and number of reactors that are needed? Well, to get the same 5 gigawatts of power that we're talking about in this proposal, you need about 5 AP1000s. And if we assume the Vogtle cost for those 5 AP1000s, then we're in for just under $87 billion. And that doesn't include anything like lessons learned or improvements in construction that happened as a result of the Vogtle project, meaning that $87 billion is probably an overestimate of how much it would cost to build 5 AP1000s. Plus, if we look at the ongoing operations and maintenance costs of 5 AP1000s, that is certainly going to be cheaper than 72 NuScale SMRs. The fuel utilization is going to be much more efficient, outage planning will be simpler, and coordinating 5 reactors over 72 is just a much simpler thing to do. I don't know, on the cost and the planning, it really doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. But TVA does have a number of retiring coal sites that might be suitable candidates for these plants. And in that case, SMRs might actually make a little bit more sense, as coal plants tend to be a bit smaller. This announcement also comes just a few weeks after TVA made another announcement with Google and Kairos Power to build Kairos Power's Helios 2 reactor, a small molten salt reactor. And TVA already has an ongoing project with another small modular reactor. This summer, TVA submitted a construction permit application to the NRC for the GE BWRX-300 small modular reactor at its Clinch River nuclear site. This would be the first commercial deployment of the BWRX-300, and work could begin on non-nuclear site preparations as early as 2026 and achieve commercial operation by 2032. TVA says it expects to make a decision by year-end 2026. So TVA has at least 3 SMR projects ongoing simultaneously, which also sounds like a lot, but more power to them if they can keep it going. It's also interesting that TVA has had a lot of turmoil within its board. Because TVA is a bit of a unique public utility, the president actually gets to nominate the board members. And earlier this year in March, President Trump fired 3 Biden-nominated board members. Without a quorum, TVA's board cannot take actions needed for ongoing operations, and cannot jump into new areas and activities, start new programs, or change the utility's existing direction. But the president has nominated 4 new board members, so they should be able to make decisions now. And the other thing that I thought was really interesting is ENTRA1 itself. This company has an exclusive agreement with NuScale to be their only partner for commercialization and development, meaning that NuScale is only handling the reactor development and design, and ENTRA1 is then handling the commercialization, finance, and construction efforts. But if we look at ENTRA1, there's not a lot of information actually available about them. ENTRA1 supports investments and development that bring positive impacts to the world. ENTRA1 Energy is an American independent global energy company, developing, financing, and owning plants with a diversified portfolio across electricity, hydrogen, process heat, and desalination, and a portfolio experience of about $6 billion, which is quite a bit short of the over $100 billion that this new project that was announced would be. On their LinkedIn page, they don't seem to be a very big company, only 11 to 50 employees, which would be quite small for a project of this size. And it's unclear what financing mechanisms they would use in order to get that money. They do have a few options that are left over from the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, such as Section 45Y Clean Energy Production Credits and Section 48E Clean Energy Investment Credits. But provisions like this from the Inflation Reduction Act have been under attack in Congress recently, so we don't know if they're going to survive. There's also the Department of Energy Loan Program Office, which under Section 17 can finance projects in the United States to support clean energy deployment and energy infrastructure investment. Basically, the Department of Energy will provide loan guarantees that support projects like this. And again, it is supported by the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act of 2021 and the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, neither of which have been very popular with President Trump. But on the positive for NuScale's side, it does mean that their stock is up about 7.5% based on the news. The market seems to be viewing this pretty positively. So will this project actually go anywhere? It's too early to say. Like a lot of the announcements we've seen recently, there's a bit more hype than substance to it. But it is nice to see that NuScale, kind of the granddaddy of SMRs at this point, to get some positive press and movement in the right direction. But will 72 NuScale SMR reactors actually be built? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thanks for watching.